The victims had headaches, sinus congestion, vomiting. They just looked emaciated. It was terrible.
The bighorn sheep population was decimated by this.
We've never seen anything like this before.
On August 23, 2003, a patient with a mysterious illness was transferred from Siberia to a hospital in Anchorage, Alaska. Little did anyone know that he would be the cause of one of the least known epidemics in history.
I got this call asking permission to bring a very sick man across the border. I said, heck yes! My job is important, and it is to keep people well. I know they don't have good hospitals in Siberia, so why would I refuse?
So we got the Russian in here. I told my colleagues, we've never seen anything like this before. It had some of the symptoms of Spanish influenza, but there were also symptoms that looked like mad cow disease, BSE, leprosy. We tried all kinds of tests. We tried all kinds of treatments. Radiation, Laetrile, Atkins diet, some kind of salve you put on kids' feet. None of them seemed to work very well.
The Siberian patient died September 2nd, but the hospital's problems had just begun.
About 3 days before the Russian died, a nurse, 2 patients came down with the very same symptoms. That's when we realized this was a lot bigger than we thought.
When we heard about the new cases, we immediately issued a quarantine for the whole hospital.
But they were too late. Several of the seasonal physicians and patients took the infection from Anchorage to various places around the continental U.S. Cases were reported in Seattle, Boston, Chicago, Denver, and many other cities within 3 months of the case in Alaska. Soon, however, people weren't the only victims.
Well, the first time we realized we had a problem, I had a set of fat steers that was just about ready for slaughter. They went off feed, started scouring. They would almost attack you when you tried to go even to feed them. It's about like herding cats. So I called the vet out. He decided we'd try some little ice and some GnRH, but none of it worked. I lost the whole pen.
Even though it wasn't a popular decision at the time, I held an emergency meeting with the governor, Dave, and he and I decided to stop issuing tags clear across the state of Wyoming. No moose, no deer, no elk, no antelope. The bighorn sheep population was decimated by this. We were in fear that other populations would be decimated also.
This mysterious disease ravaged the human and animal populations of the U.S. and Russia, but no breakthroughs had come regarding treatment.
We knew from the beginning that it was a virus because it didn't react to the antibiotics. Around the hospital, it just became known as the Big It. One of our esteemed colleagues, however, a Latin major, decided to name it non-verum, which roughly translated means untreatable.
Finally, Nate Virodoc, a graduate student from Texas A&M University, discovered the virus's origins accidentally.
I was actually doing research on BSE when one of my samples got mixed in with someone else's. I think they were doing research on the viral effects of E. coli, but ours got cultured together.
Virodoc's research team examined the culture samples using a technique called ultrasonic lithotripsy and discovered that the cultures contained non-verum.
It seems somehow when the mad cow disease virus and the avian influenza virus are in huge quantities with E. coli, they seem to infect the bacteria together, and it's like the bacteria gets them all confused and just puts them together.
We tried for months to manufacture a vaccine for this, but we kept running into problems. We tried this very complicated thing of crossbreeding the strains, and the samples kept collapsing. Then Nate's research finally came out. I thought, thank heavens, we've solved this.
The new research provided vaccine manufacturers with the information they needed to successfully create a vaccine for the virus. Instead of attempting to cross strains of non-Verum itself, the manufacturers instead used non-pathogenic strains of the component viruses to recreate a non-pathogenic variety. Within a few weeks, the vaccine began trials.
I was on the phone every day with Pfizer, with Merck, with CDC, with this clinic down in Mexico that thought they could help us. And it must have worked because we were the first hospital to get the vaccine. We gave it to our staff, we gave it to incoming patients, and pretty soon, bam, no more mortality from non-Verum.
Vaccines were issued to all major hospitals and clinics, and by June 16, 2004, the Center for Disease Control pronounced non-Verum officially eradicated. The effects of it could still be profoundly felt, however. According to the World Health Organization, over 20,000 Americans and 7,000 Russians died as a direct result of the virus. The United States Department of Agriculture estimates that $900 billion were lost due to dead or sick livestock.
I thought I was going to be lucky, and I enrolled my whole herd in the Verum vaccine trial, but it came out too late, and I lost the whole herd. With the price of replacement cattle being what they were, I decided that the only thing I could do to save the ranch was get me a herd of La Mancha goats and start a goat dairy.
It was terrible, just sheer terror. But we made it through. The American people conquered this threat to their humanity. I helped a lot, but most of the credit goes to the American people.
Hold it! I'm Thomas Christensen, writer and director for the film you just watched. In case you couldn't tell by the disclaimer back at the beginning, and all of the obvious absurdities that were scattered throughout it, the whole film was a fake. None of the events described actually happened, and all of our experts were acting. Of course, some of them were real experts, so you'll have to watch the credits to see who. Alright, roll credits!
Got this call asking permission to bring a very sick man across the border. I said, heck yes. I mean, my job's important, and it is to keep people well. So I know they don't have good jobs in Siberia. Never take up acting, Jesse. I'm here for your amusement, Thomas.
All right, tell me a story, Leonard.
Yeah, well, did I ever tell you about the time I was shooting a movie and a bunch of goats and I thought I was going to get attacked?
We've never seen anything like